This week, we cover February's Blotter, Citation rules, Disciplinary team Captaincy, plagiarism, and we'll have Stormbreath on to chat and play some games. Since our last episode, Rainer Miller, aka SCP-4051, aka your friendly neighborhood Keter, turned 29 years old. That isn't a joke. His age and birthday are given in his original article, and if you do the math, he turned 29 the day after our last episode was recorded. Our teen superhero is pushing 30.
Damn.
Oh no! Oh, we're old!
It's time.
It's a Spider-Man situation.
It's time for me to straighten things out. Yeah. Gotta help me find a soul. One that I can call my own.
I'm Kelsey.
I'm Cassie.
And I'm Noli, the K is silent. And this is SCP Weekly.
What have we been up to for the last 2 weeks?
I put in my 2 weeks notice for my shitty job.
Hey.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Hooray for leaving
Hooray.
bullshit situations.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a job offer for a new place that's opening in like a few weeks. I've never actually heard of it before, actually. Houston, Texas hot chicken.
Yeah, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, but essentially it's sort of like a, from what I've gathered, like a Chick-fil-A-esque restaurant, except it's open on Sundays and there's no homophobia and transphobia.
Nice. That's
All right.
important. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now I just gotta deal with this bullshit for only a week and a half.
How many jobs have you gone through in the last year?
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah. I am on because I started this before last year, so within February to February, this is my 5th.
Damn.
So I understand. trying to find a place that isn't absolute shit.
Yeah, and there's
Not
nothing
being
wrong
willing.
with that.
Yeah, no. Not
Nothing
being
wrong
willing
with
to
that.
take bullshit is fine. And I wish I had tried to do that 1,000 years ago in my life, but I have learned my lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, kids, it's not wrong to go through a bunch of jobs in a year.
Yeah.
We're all still growing. We're all still trying to find our place in the world. And hey, if it's not working for you right now, you're still finding your place, and that's okay.
Having 5 W-2s to file for taxes, though, is a whole fucking
Okay, yeah,
trip.
that part is bullshit. Though. That part fucking sucks.
So that was what I was going to say for my last 2 weeks is I'm a guy who owns 3 LLCs and it's
Yep.
tax season.
Yep.
Fuck me mileage. Fuck me receipts. Fuck me credit card statements. Fuck me all of the things plus W-2 wages plus 1099 wages. Oh
Yep.
my God. Fuck
Yep.
me with
Yep.
taxes right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a thing.
Yep.
I know, like, Canada isn't really that good of much better of a place than America right now, but I'll give them this. They at least don't do the bullshit that America does with taxes.
More of that.
Or essentially like the rest of the world does, really. Of just telling people how much they owe the government in taxes and just paying them.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this game of catch-up that the American government has us do every year with trying to get a bunch of forms together, even though they know exactly how much we owe them. It's like, oh, but you gotta do it yourself, and if you get it wrong, even a little bit, we'll throw you into federal prison.
We are the government and you owe us money. Okay, how much money do I owe you?
Yeah.
Well, you tell me. And you better get it right or you're going to jail if you don't. Fuck.
Spend money to deal with money.
Yeah, I have to hire a bookkeeper.
How much do I owe you? Go fuck yourself. That's how much you owe me.
I owe you exactly that many.
Speaking of going to jail, there's quite a few people that went to SCP Wiki jail this month. Cassie, you want to talk about it?
Oh god, it's so many things. Okay. User Dr. James Howell, membership revoked for cold posted AI content. Guys. User Dr. Mad Hatter, membership revoked for cold posted AI content. There's too much of this. User level 5 Dr. Johnson / Cam Johnson / the Crazy Camden, permanent ban for ban evasion and sock puppeting. At least change your name a little bit, guys.
You
Like,
crazy Cam guy. You crazy guy.
Crazy. Look,
Just a wild and crazy Cam guy.
User, see, here's an original name. I don't even know. I think Toasthead. Yeah. User Toasthead. Lots of numbers involved in that. Received a 1-month ban for extreme vehemence towards SCP Wiki staff and off-site SCP adjacent spaces. They are then believed to have used a humble toaster as a sock puppet account for ban evasion. This initially prompted a permanent ban for both accounts, though after an appeal, this ban was commuted back to 1 month. Use a different name. User Papa Donut has had their site membership revoked for alleged use of AI-generated text and repeatedly posting more or less the same article to the site after it was downvoted. Well, that's not a thing. User Draco Fulman briefly had their membership revoked for applying inappropriate tags to a page. Staff noted at the time that no indication that this was done maliciously, and Draco Fulman has rejoined the site after an appeal.
Wasn't there just about a month and a half ago, like a big tagging initiative that went out? I wonder if that had something to do with that.
Yeah, looks like maybe people are still trying to get used to what they can and cannot get away with.
Yeah.
It says it wasn't done maliciously, but okay, that's fine. User Dimes PvP, pages deleted and membership revoked for plagiarism of RPC content.
God, if you're gonna plagiarize something, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do RPC. Don't do the homophobic basic bitch version of trying to copy the SCP foundation.
Did you not think someone would notice? Also, like, oh, nobody will go here. Guys, what? User Nerd Squadron, membership revoked for unauthorized editing and problematic cold posts. Site disciplinary team member and SCP author Prismal has been investigated for allegedly plagiarizing the VS Battles wiki and failing to properly cite it as she did so. After consultation with the licensing team, it was decided that the article in question was in violation of the current licensing stance on citations. After the article in question was deleted, some of Prismal's conduct, including her persistence in addressing the matter in public channels despite repeatedly being asked to move the discussion somewhere more sensitive, and her alleged misrepresentation of communications she received from site staff, has also been investigated. According to Zine's post regarding the matter on the disciplinary forums, while for another user these actions may have been taken as unintentional, Prismal is a member of the disciplinary team. Either she does know better and was acting intentionally, or has a level of familiarity with disciplinary process considerably beneath the trust given to her. In the aftermath of these events, the disciplinary team as a whole recommended Prismal's removal from the team and has suggested a 3-month censure. For her part, Prismal claims the source in question was originally omitted by mistake, that she did restrict her discussion of certain sensitive matters to non-public channels, speaking in public channels only on subjects for which such secrecy was neither necessary nor clearly requested, and that the alleged misrepresentations either were, in fact, fair representations of the communication she'd received or reflected misunderstandings based on limited information she possessed at the time due to the disciplinary team's alleged failure to communicate with her. Okay, she further argues that she was well within her rights to publicly criticize the disciplinary team's handling of her case and dispute their interpretation of events, arguing that it is entirely possible for staff members to disagree quite radically on matters, especially subjective matters such as these, without necessarily being less trustworthy or less knowledgeable. In the recent disciplinary thread, staff are split between those who wish to remove Prismal from the disciplinary team and those who believe no action at all is required. At the time of writing, a final decision has not yet been made. I don't know. I don't like any of that. How do you... No action? No action is a lot. It's a lot of nothing.
There was some difference in opinion. So one of the things that weighed on kind of the whole thing being brought to light was the original author of the work from VS Battles that was quoted but not cited in the article. It was their opinion that the way Prismal used it in her article was mocking. And that was brought to the attention of the licensing team. Like, basically that author was like, take it down. I don't like the way that it's in here. So that played into the situation as well. Like, there were some external influences that kind of sparked everything to begin with. That, and then there was a period of time where Prismal was AFK and not able to be reached. And that was sort of what brought some of the talking about what's going on in outside channels about the disciplinary team and decisions that were made, because the disciplinary team, for good reason, because Prismal said, I will be away, thought that Prismal would be away, and they thought that she would not be able to be made contact with. So there's a lot going on to this. We'll put a link to this discussion thread in the show notes, so anybody who's curious, wants to know more about it, can go and see it. It's all in the public forums, in the O5 Wiki and the SCP Wiki as well. So on the subject of the disciplinary team, Ace Mallard has resigned from her position as the captain of the Wiki's disciplinary team, citing her lack of time and inability to focus on her duties, including the implementation of various changes the disciplinary team, in her opinion, needs to undergo. According to her announcement posts, she has originally intended to take the captaincy only for a few months, after events in November 2020 left the captaincy vacant. Alas, come 2024, she found herself still in charge of the team, an oversight she felt the need to correct. Her departure leaves the disciplinary team without a captain for the time being, though she did leave behind a proposed policy for the selection of a new captain, wherein an aspiring captain would nominate themselves and would then need to be ratified by receiving 60% of approval in a staff vote. She also left behind an agenda of business she hasn't been able to get to, including several reforms proposed all the way back in 2020 and the establishment of a new, quote, sustainable way of recruiting new members to the disciplinary team. With the disciplinary team's unexpected change in captaincy coming in the wake of the plagiarism policy overhaul discussion and the events surrounding site admin Prismal's potential censure, Ace Mallard's successor will definitely have their hands full in their first few months in the position.
In other news regarding the Wiki staff, there has been a proposal to codify the way in which the Wiki authors can cite texts from which their articles borrow. Though the rules for citing images on the Wiki have been well established and strictly enforced, rules for the citing of other texts are less well established, despite the Wiki's Creative Commons license requiring the proper citation of all materials from which anything on the Wiki is derived. The proposal suggests that the wiki adopt a standardized citation format. Among the proposed options is the potential adoption by the wiki of MLA or APA formats, or the devisement of a new standardized format for citing text on the wiki.
SCP format 6.0.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So just real quick before the next news, I just want to draw the thread I want to draw the thread all the way back to Metaphysician, probably further back before Metaphysician, because that is the most recent previous case of somebody very well renowned in the SCP community having an issue with, quote, plagiarism and not citing texts that were used in their works. And now this comes up again. And I just want to say, we are not reporting on any of these things to drag somebody through the mud or defame their character or anything like that. These are important things that are happening on the wiki. These are important things that are happening in the SCP community. And there's a lot of buzz in the SCP Wiki admin about, hey, this is actually a real problem that we need to address and we need to find a better solution to, because the community is growing. And if we don't fix this, it's going to cause us problems down the road. So I don't know Prismal well enough to say that she's a friend, but I have had extensive personal conversations with Prismal, and I can say that the stuff that Prismal's involved in right now, I don't think that intentional plagiarism or using those words as was alleged as a mockery is part of her character. I don't think that is, and it's really unfortunate that individuals are going to have to get embroiled in these things, and it's unfortunate that it affects individuals the way that it does. But the bottom line for us is that this is something that's happening within the SCP community that needs to be talked about, and it needs to be reported at least for the sake of posterity. So while there are many events unfolding that will affect the wiki, its policies, and by extension the SCP community as a whole, as the site admin team and team captains mull through the decisions they'll have to make about plagiarism, licensing, citations, and discipline, another K-Con is well underway. K-Cons, or 1,000 contests, have become a rite of celebration for the community. It's the way the community celebrates that there's still enough life left to fill those 1,000 slots, and not with every single article that gets posted to the site, but those articles that make it through the fire and survive. It's more than a contest. It's the community's way of celebrating the SCP concept itself. Posting for the SCP-8000 contest closed yesterday, and more than 80 authors have posted their entries. Iron Shears, a relatively unknown author with only 2 other main list articles to their name, led the rankings for nearly a week with their entry, With Love from Ada.zip. The article takes the form of a playable video game in which the player converses with a Maxwellist whose mind has been uploaded into a computer. The piece's #1 position was supplanted by Plague PJP's Seal of Approval, a story about a researcher receiving therapy from an infinitely long seal. Works by Jay Dune and Rounderhouse have also been climbing the ranks, and it's possible that one or more of them will overtake the current frontrunner. We've been providing daily coverage on the 8K contest since posting began. Results will be decided in approximately 4 weeks on March 11th. So let's talk about our favorite KCon entries and see if that changes in 2 weeks.
It's done. There are no more submissions being accepted.
None.
Whenever this episode airs, that posting actually ends at midnight tonight.
Oh man.
Time.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Do you
SD Lock, Montague, etc., like they just posted theirs.
so
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't have a time machine, so
Yep, no. No, just as a thing, because we don't know what'll happen. Oh man.
So let's talk about our favorite KCon entries. Nolan, I know you got a favorite. What do you got?
Yeah. Okay, so
You got 3 favorites, and you're gonna spoil them all for us. Go ahead. Go ahead and spoil it. I will make you fast forward all the way through it. Just do it.
No. Okay, go ahead. Do it.
The listeners
Do it.
love it when I make Nolan go. They love it.
yeah, you know what? Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't now. Maybe I'll deprive you of that good content.
That's never gonna happen.
Kelsey.
Do your thing.
Okay, but listen.
Ruin my day.
Okay, but there are a few entries that I do really enjoy so far in the contest. A lot of them have been great so far. There's a few that really come off to me. One being Iron Shears, with love from Ada. Another one that I really enjoy was Rounderhouse's entry, The Gears of Time, which, for those that haven't read that, it's essentially him telling a story of a centuries-long romance spanning across countries and continents, and it includes lesbian Vikings, so, that's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Media could always use more of that.
Yep.
But I think, by far, my top favorite entry has to be Burial Goods by Grigory Karpin. And it's really because its general theme really sticks to me. Context-wise, for the story, it essentially is 2 stories that we get unfolding as we read on. First is the Foundation finding evidence of a war that took place between the Deva, who, if you don't know, Grigory Karpin actually wrote and created the Davite Hub. All the lore that's on there, he wrote that. So, I recommend you read that. But it was a war between the Deva and the Children of the Night, SCP-1000. But at the same time, it's coinciding with the story about the researcher that's leading this project. Because the researcher, spoilers, believe me out if you want, his sister is a horrible wreck and dies, and he is inconsolable about it. He can't accept that he's trying to run away because not only does he has history. If he can't do that, change one thing. There's one tiny thing in his history, just to get his back. And it really, and Grigory, in the comments, he posted that this really came from a very personal place for him, because he writes that about a decade ago, he lost his mother, and it was a very traumatic experience for him. I won't go into details about it. He goes into it on the comment, but it was a truly horrible moment that nobody should ever have to experience. And he tried to distill that, that despair, that guilt of why am I here but this person isn't anymore. That insane desire of what if I could change it, what if I did something different, all the what ifs that a person goes through during that time, that in hindsight they know that maybe something could have been different, but at the time they couldn't have known. Nobody could have known. That it's impossible and pointless to try to think about that. But in grief, logic isn't really at the forefront. And I really connected with that because in my own life, roughly around the same time Grigory lost his mother, I lost my dad. And I just couldn't get out of the mindset of, could I have done something different? And of course I couldn't. It's fucking cancer. What could I have done?
Yeah.
But I always would think of, could I have done something different? Could I have said something different with my dad? Could I have, been kinder in some, conversations that we've had? Could I have let him know more things about me? Could I have tried to know more things about him? that he could have told me about when he was still alive. All of those what ifs and that desire to change things, knowing that it can't happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to change. It's final.
Yeah.
It's done. And the only way is to try and find a path forward. And that really hits when you read this article. Like, Grigori poured that grief and all that emotional turmoil that he felt regarding his mother's passing into this. And with my similar experience, it personally resonated with me. It's definitely, there might be better stories out there, but out of all of them, this has to be my top favorite 8K-Con entry.
That's a good one. I think you and I read like a completely separate set of entries, because I got some time to sit down and read a handful. And so Jay Dune's entry, the Feeding the Trolls, that one, if that one hangs on to its place, like it's been bouncing up and down into the number one slot a couple of times, that has the potential to be the absolute shortest K-Con winning entry ever, because it uses a lot of visuals, it uses a lot of pictures. If you haven't checked that one out, go read it. Not my favorite. I read Stormbreaths, because we were going to have Stormbreath on. Stormbreaths is a really good recreation of the Red Death. Is that what it's called? The Edgar Allan Poe story, The Red Death, with a very Parawatch vibe. IP is back. Did you guys know that IP hasn't posted anything in a year and a half?
No, I hadn't realized that.
IP took it, and this has been posted publicly, but IP took a mental health break from the wiki. Actually deleted their account for a year and a half. IP is back, and the 8K-Con, IP's 8K-Con entry is right back to Sloth Pit, and then out, not in Sloth Pit, and right back to Sloth Pit again, like they never left the site. Yeah. It was a really good read, and it was my favorite. That one was my favorite just because I have a special place in my heart for Sloth Pit, Wisconsin. But my favorite is Many Meats. Many Meats' entry. I don't even remember the name of it. It's Latin, and it's just like another Rome took over the multiverse skip. But wait, there's more. Usually when I see a bunch of expandables in an article, I'm just like, fuck this. I'm out, because you're trying to trick me into reading a novel that I didn't show up to read.
I love expandables.
That's where the good shit is, guys. That's where the good shit is.
The more expandables I see, the more likely I am to read it fucking there.
I'm not an Expandables wiki reader, but that one I was like, you know what? This is okay. I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm very glad I did. So Many Meats' entry is my favorite K-Con art.
Nice.
There's a lot of really good ones. There's the seal of approval. That's really good. Like, that's really good. It deserves to be in the top 10. I'm not going to say whether I think it deserves to win, but it deserves to be in the top 10.
Is there a link or place to go to see what has this is 10, this is 12, this is 13, this is 1, like the upvotes as it's going, or do you have to flip through all the articles?
Rounder House's author page has a live count. You can find it on the Rounder page.
Bitch.
Yeah, of course.
Making me go to his author page.
Yeah.
Fucking.
It's really well organized. Like, nobody does it better than Rounder. Except for Jay Dune and Plague PJP. This time around, it seems like.
Amazing.
Yeah, not only is he, one of the youngest writers to have started on the wiki, not only is he, a gorgeous motherfucker in real life, but he is organized, and I can respect that.
This article of his is 17 pages long.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. He wrote a book. You can't enter a book.
Also, fun fact, this wasn't his original entry that he was going to go with. He was going to go with something else, and he decided, no, I'm not going to do that, and wrote this one in a single night.
Yeah, it was like 8 hours. Took him 8 hours to write that.
I don't know if I hate him or if I love him or which is more, but there's just an amount of makes me want to rub my temples when I think about certain things having to do with
He exists in the same world that we do. I
can't process that. He's no longer a fucking child, and he exists in real life and not just on a website somewhere. I can't. I'm just not.
Cassie, have you read enough to have an established favorite yet?
No, I haven't had any time to really sit down with a lot of them in general, let alone it hasn't been a thing. But
so for the record, our favorites, Nolan's is Grigori's and mine is Mini Meats.
Yes.
And Cassie will be back in 2 weeks with her favorite. I'm sure you will have read some by then.
I haven't been able to keep up with reading for so long at this point. I don't have a choice now.
Yeah.
I can't not read the 8,000 posts, and I have to go through and read the ones by people who have never posted before first.
Yeah.
Like, I have to...
And I read it. I posted it on our 8KCon update too. Like, good luck to everybody who posted today, because 8 of the top 10 are already over 100 upvotes. Like, you don't just have to beat them. You got to catch up with them first.
Yeah.
So there's still about a month left.
Yeah. All right. What's up? That was that.
What's going on with new skips and tales these last 2 weeks?
Let's see. How many 8KCon entries have we had?
Over 80.
So there are 19 new SCP articles, not including 8KCon. I was wondering, how many are there? With SCP-7636 by Pedantic at 52, which is really nice. And there are 2 new tales. Nobody has time to read most of these, probably, but I'm glad
nobody has time to write a tale right now either.
Yeah, I'm glad.
More than I expected.
I'm glad that Pedantics is doing well then, because even when there isn't a lot going on, it's hard for new pages to get up there, especially as we go 2 weeks to 2 weeks. So that's nice. Maybe people are trying to give attention to things that probably won't be paid attention to because everybody is on 8K. So I'd like to think so. But it's nice. 52 is a lot. That's a bunch.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back with off-site news and Stormbreath.
Dr. Gray, what are you doing here?
Intern, I thought no one came to this closet. So this is where I go to read my real crazy fan fiction. And what's that you're reading?
It's, well, you're not dangerous, so I guess I can tell you. This is Confinement. It's a comic series. It's about a guy named Connor who responds when he dies.
Really? That just sounds like a whole lot of bung to me.
It's absolutely not. It's actually really good, but I've been keeping it a secret for now. I don't want Dr. Bucket to get any ideas on dangerous tests he can make me do. Connor can afford to die, but not me.
Wow, that sounds excitingly veil-breaking. Do you know where I can get one?
Thanks for asking, Monica. All you need to do is look up SCP Confinement Kickstarter, and the pre-order page should be the first result. And even if you can't get in on the pre-orders, the comic will be for sale on the unredacted Etsy store after the Kickstarter ends.
Awesome! I'm already so excited to get mine. Oh, maybe I can show them to Grim.
Thanks to our sponsor, Dado Universe Sales. Very exciting story, you see, where Dado is discovered doing sale of Universe. While Dado has not yet done the Universe sale, perhaps it is good market for future Dado to get into and experience high profit. Dado Multiverse, coming soon to theater and laundromat near you.
The MCU, but it's all Dado.
You know how the Marvel logo has the rolling, all the films and stuff, but it's just Dado ads for the different things. Dado. There's a banana. There's a rabbit.
Honestly, I would pay to see a Dadoized MCU.
Oh no, no. Don't put that out there. Someone will pick it up.
Yeah.
No.
Artists listening to this, get on it, you know? Make some
Dado,
artwork.
get on it.
What would Dado's MCU look like?
Oh, I found the contest rankings. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Wow, Jay Dune is up at 190. That's crazy pants. Who would
That's a
negative
good
that?
article.
Who's negativing these things? That's not nice.
If you're in the top 10, like, to me, I agree with Grigori Karpin's theory on upvotes and downvotes. Like, if
you don't like it, just
if you don't like it, just no vote. Like, a downvote means you think this article should not exist. A downvote means you think this article needs to be deleted.
I don't think that's what's happening here, though.
No, it's not.
That's like, okay, I don't like it. I'm gonna downvote it. But if you're gonna go, I don't think anybody downvoted because they're like, this shouldn't exist on this planet. Please remove it. That's not what's happening.
They downvoted because they don't want it to win.
That's what I'm saying. That's just fucking rude. You got 200 people thinking this is amazing, and 20 going, whatever. Just fucking move on.
At least the authors can see who it was that downvoted, like upvotes and downvotes. And I wasn't aware of that mechanic of the wiki until like a few months ago. And so I had, I reached out to IP to see if they wanted to come on the show, which they're tentatively okay with. And they responded like, "Oh, thanks for upvoting my AKCon article, by the way." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing." That made me feel weird.
Oh shit.
Nolan, do you remember who it was that deleted their entry because they were just tired of the fucking bullshit discussion about it? It was so controversial. Like, it had I think I did the update on it, but it had exactly 0 points with 52 upvotes and 52 downvotes. And it had the most comments of anything. And I don't remember whose it was, but they were like, fuck this. It was Fish to the 12th. It was Fish to the 12th.
Oh!
Yeah. And they were like, I'm done. This is too, I've just stopped fucking talking about it. I'm done. I'm deleting it.
Like, Perdoz has been negatived into the negatives. I don't like that. Well, I mean,
they
whatever.
might not be that good.
I see. Now I'm going to have to start at those articles.
I know there was some talk amongst
like
the newer authors. They're like, oh yeah, it's the AKCon, so now I can post without getting any crit. Well, welcome to the deep well.
Oh, right.
Gonna be eating good after this.
Dr. Sherman of Site 42 has announced that Site 42 will not attempt to read every KCON entry aloud as they did for the 7K contest, citing complications in his personal life, as well as their failure to finish the ambitious project during 7KCon. According to Dr. Sherman, this does not represent a permanent retirement of the tradition he attempted to establish during 7KCon, and he hopes he will be in a position to read the entries aloud once again by the time 9KCon occurs. For the time being, he has reached out to the various guests he collaborated with in his attempt for last year and asked them to perform the readings in his stead. We were just talking to him about that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it.
You're gonna have to.
Not me.
You have to fill the void.
Like,
Kelsey?
that would be a massive collaboration. Like, get everybody together. Get Sherm together. Get Maxwell in there. Get Volgan in there. Get Creepy Otter back online. Like, I'll jump in there. Like, get us all in there. Yeah. Nomadic Archives. Get all the readers in there, and let's all like do a rotation or something. Like, let's make a big collab out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like one small group of 2 or 3 people. That's because I think. And there's probably stats on it somewhere, the 8KCon articles. I don't think the 8KCon articles are stacking up to be on average as long as the 7KCon articles were. but still, there's some long ones in there, man.
I mean, I was just looking at an entire book. So yeah. So what you're saying is you're not covering specifically rounder houses and a couple of others.
No, what I'm saying is
Whole books.
I'm specifically not fucking doing it. That's what I'm saying. Specifically,
I'll
like
do it.
at all.
Yeah. Nolan will do the all 100 entries by himself.
At all. Like I would
I'll do it.
I would do one of those, like, our powers combined, we make, SCP Captain Planet, but there's no way.
No,
I will say this real quick.
Real quick.
If you guys have not seen Sherm's latest video of the Bottle Dick compilation
no.
of readings, please do so. It's fucking hilarious. Because literally, starting off, one of the first sentences I hear Sherm say is, "He inspired me to start sucking dick." It's beautiful.
Okay. I have something to do later.
And now let's introduce our guest this week.
Yeah.
He did not inspire me to start sucking dick. Stormbreath, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah.
You got sound.
Hello. Yeah. Bottle Dick is, certainly a canon. I think that's the most polite thing I can say about it.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. All I can say is I wish I was someone's inspiration for sucking dick,
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, it'd be a compliment.
Get busy, Nolan.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let me do the proper introduction, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We have company, Cassie.
I'm sorry. You started it.
Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter.
I was good until Kelsey started it. I'm sorry.
And now, let's introduce our guest this week. Let's all welcome SCP author and head of the Wiki's technical team, Stormbreath.
Yay!
Hello.
Edited fanfare.
Woohoo!
Dead people from the 50s cheering.
Stormbreath, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I've been writing for the wiki for what is, I think, coming up on I think it's coming up on 7 years now, which is far longer than I really thought I'd be here, but I also honestly expected to never leave, so what can we say?
Stuck with you now.
Yeah, I don't think I can leave at this point. So in that time since becoming involved, I've risen up the ranks of like raw authors and writing. I'm head of the tech, one of the co-heads of the tech team, which is something I've been in for 3 years now. And that's like one of my main pushes as running the wiki, is trying to keep that technical side of things going.
Well, talk to us about the tech team, because it's really interesting, and we've had other team members, but I don't think we've had any team captains on the show yet. And I'm still kind of learning what all the different teams do. Some of them it's pretty obvious, like Discipline. Guess what they do? But tech, right? That could cover a multitude of things. So tell us a little bit about what your team does, and if maybe there's an issue that you guys are currently affected by that you think the greater community might need to be aware of. Like, that would be a good place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So tech team, generally speaking, we have a few big pushes, one of which is covering up vulnerabilities for anything on Wikidot, which is not something I can talk about too freely. And then the other big things are making sure that all of our technical components, themes, everything is working properly, trying to make sure that those are all things that users can use easily. We've had a lot of pushes over the last couple of years to make sure that offsets, themes, components are things that are actually accessible to users so that they can take whatever theme, use it well, get offsets working, because with AK especially, everyone loves offsets, but nobody really seems to understand how they work and get functioning. So those are some of our big pushes: are CSS on the wiki, components, anything that's kind of user facing, and that's a lot of what I focus on. And then we also do tagging approval. So the tag system is implemented by MAST, maintenance. I forget what MAST stands for. It's like Maintenance Auxiliary Staff Team. Yeah.
The catch all the rest of the things team.
They do everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they actually have the manpower to put tags on articles after they've been posted. We focus on approving tags, so we generate the list and we choose what's going on the wiki. Big issues that people might need to be aware of right now. Oh, well, I mean, I can talk about this is a really cool thing that just got implemented, but it's the preview component, which has actually been in place for a while now, but it just got actual functionality in Chrome implementation. So this is something that's really cool that we were working on for a while in coordination with SMLT. So now when you search up an article on Chrome is now able to display a short text snippet and show that to users.
Is that related to the preview that we're seeing kind of debut on the 8KCon hub page? The previews for the article, is that the same thing?
Yes, it is the same. It is the same preview, and I think SMLT got around to implementing that because we had debuted it on the AK page. So that's a really cool thing that just happened. The big thing to be aware of, though, with this component is due to some somewhat unfortunate technical limitations, you really can't do anything too format screwy with this, because it does have to get spit out by Chrome on Discord, and Chrome does not have the ability to display colored text or any kind of special formatting, really. So if you're interested in using this preview, you do need to be pretty limited in what you're putting in there. There's a lot less creativity, which is unfortunate, but it's necessary for how this component works and letting Chrome actually display things.
But I wouldn't put it past the creative minds that are part of this community to figure out a way to use that as a format screw. It's coming eventually. You give them an option, they're going to weave it in.
Oh, absolutely. It's unfortunate that we do have to limit the creativity in the ways that we did, but it was really necessary to actually make this component work as a tool. So
yeah, because there's something that we had to give up to implement that as an option, wasn't it? Because that was something that was used as the licensing box or something like that.
We had to give up the licensing box. That was not really something that we actually had to give up per se, because licensing wasn't actually using that function. It was implemented by an old licensing captain, and then we went and checked with the team, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't even know that existed. We didn't even know that was there." And then we explained how much of a downside it was causing, and they were like, "Oh yeah, totally get rid of it." So we had to get rid of something, but it wasn't. The trade-off was incomparable.
The cost of spare parts.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Can we talk about your some of your career as an author a little bit? Because getting ready for this, I definitely read your 8KCon entry, and I hope I sent you a message, and I hope it did, because it was not a Parawatch entry. but it definitely had Parawatch vibes. And I want to say, like, I didn't say that meaning to offend, but then getting ready for this episode, I went and looked at your author page, and of course, you wrote 2 of my favorite Parawatch entries. The Bigfoot did it, and the Pruder record.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately I saw those, and I was like, okay, all right, I dig it.
Yeah, the Parawatch vibes of the AK were not super intentional, but I definitely like. It's a writing style that I really enjoy writing, so I definitely know how it bled in there, even though it wasn't like a conscious decision.
Yeah,
and I really love writing Parawatch stuff. Bigfoot did it as part of a series of true crime articles that I've written. And those are some of my favorite articles to write on the site. That's absolutely one of my favorite series. And I think the parallels between that and my AK were definitely pretty intentional. It's very similar to the Pruder record in kind of its themes with cursed media.
I love the Pruder record.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun article to write. I think I wrote it and then it sat in a sandbox for like 2 years before I actually posted it. And then I finally looked at it and realized this is just ready to post and I haven't touched it in years. I'm just going to throw this out on the wiki. Which was really funny because I kind of forgot a lot of the thematic intent I had while writing it. When I went to post it, I kind of forgot a lot of what the symbolism meant. So going back into it had a really distinct vibe because I was kind of reading it for the first time again and having to figure out what I meant by it.
And Cassie, have you read the Pruder record, or did you look? Because I read that on Unredacted. Go list, because you're into found footage. And that's definitely, it's like cursed found footage. It's very, very up your alley. I think you would enjoy it. And Stormbreath, another one of your articles that I wanted to highlight just because of the massive upvote count on it, but also one of my favorite articles, 6140, your 6K con entry with Mallard, right? With Ace Mallard?
Yes, with Mallard. That was a really, really fun article to write as well. Ace Mallard came up with the general idea for that, and then we spent ACON working on it, or 6Con working on it. Very funny story with this article that I don't know if I ever shared publicly. I'm sure I have, but everyone talks about how the connection to the nature theme is really understated in the article, and it absolutely is. And we came up with this justification that's about true natures and the true nature of the Davites. The ultimate truth is that's kind of just like something we made up after the fact, because originally it was supposed to be an article that focused on Davite horticulture, like an element of Davite lore is that they have really strong and anomalous plants and everything, and that's like a running theme throughout their concepts. And originally that was going to be like a bigger element of the piece, and that's why we went with this pitch for our 6Con entry. And then we just didn't write that. And then we like looked at the article at the end, and we were like, oh, that's like mentioned in like 2 lines. It's barely there. It's not enough to carry this article for the like theme, and but we had already written the article, so we didn't want to drop it as our KCON entry. So we just went with it and made something up later.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did. Like, it's funny that it worked out that way. The thing that stood out to me the most is, and so for anybody listening, we're talking about 6140, and it's the True Empire, I think was the name of it. And basically, without spoiling a lot of things, it's where like the current timeline and the Davite timeline sort of intersect. And then now we're in this new world where the Davites have always existed. And the doctor's testimony at the end is like incredibly powerful. Like, that's a moving speech coming from someone who is like, we have existed I know you people, like I've known you, and now it's like you're just getting here, and you're suspicious of us when we've existed in this world together for so long. And that's an article I think a lot of people should check out, and a lot of people have. If you're going by the upvote count, that article has 814 upvotes.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. 814.
Yeah. Massive upvotes.
Yeah. I think that is definitely one of the strongest things I've written for the wiki, both thematically and like my writing qualities. That's one of the best things I've put out there, and I'm really happy that a lot of people have responded to that and agree with that.
Yeah, and not just responded, but I think you might be able to say that this article or the concept of an article like this was inspiration for some of the things that Montague is doing now with like Cain and Abel, with some of the
So good,
refreshing the lore of it. Like I'm not retconning it. I'm not changing the way that it was, but this is a new way to look at it. It's sort of the Cruella treatment to the Davites and Cain and Abel.
Yeah, I definitely I've seen that article, but it was really long and I didn't get the chance to check it out. So I definitely will go back to that after this.
As one does.
Probably after I get through the backlog of AK entries, because there's a lot that's been posted that I haven't had the chance to read yet. Yeah. So that's kind of the big priority.
Kelsey, what article that you did did you mention for Unredacted?
Oh, the Pruder record.
Okay. Want to try and find it.
Yeah, I did 6140 too.
Nice. I will find both. See, I don't have time to read anything, so you have to do them all. So let's go with 8K. All right, we're counting on you.
Reading so you don't have to.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, are we ready for Don't Blink? Stormbreath. If you're unfamiliar with this game, the basis is Kelsey is going to roll his Skiddly Bop, which is a giant dice that he has, and it's going to roll for an investigation check. You're going to have a 0.5 multiplier on your roll, and whatever it becomes, that's how long you'll have to see the image. So say it landed on a 10, it's going to be half that, so you only have 5 seconds to look at the image. And then you'll have 10 seconds to describe the image that you saw. You don't need to say the name of it or where it's from, but do your best to just describe what we're showing you.
Just tell us what you see.
All right.
Yeah, tell me when to stop rolling.
Now.
That's 5.
All right.
Yeah. So you get a 2.5 second gander at this. And a half. There you go.
All right.
Now you have 10 seconds to describe what you saw.
So it was an stained glass portrait of that said, Alligator always draws you back, and there were some figures with animal heads in the foreground, 3 figures, and then what looked like various scenery from Alligator, which is by Metaphysician, in the background in stained glass. I think the figures were not meant to be stained glass, but I'm not 100% on that.
10 seconds. And so now I'll pull it back up so we can actually take a good look at it. There it is. And every night, Alligator drags you back. So this is, and I apologize, because 7462, it was commissioned to tab 07 for SCP-7462. This actually appears in the article. And so we got, looks like some Hanged King action in the background here. All stained glass.
The whole article is written as a play. It's quite a lot of things happening in this article.
Is that the Hang King's comedy?
No.
Or is that a different one?
That's a different one.
Think
Hang King's comedy is a different one.
It's a Remix Con entry of SCP-2264, which was the original Alagata article. And a really important part of that article initially, or part of that lore, is that the Hanged King is from Alagata. The Hanged King's ambassador in 701 is the ambassador of Alagata. So, definitely linked to Hanged King, although it's not the Hanged King article itself.
Isn't he a known entity for Alagata?
Yes. I forget how Metaphysician used the Hanged King in SCP-2264, but in 701, I believe the implication is that the Hanged King is the king of Alagata.
Yeah.
There's a tale that really, really does a good job of, and I know there is no canon, but Theology of a Snake.
Yes.
Is the tale.
Yeah,
That-
I remember because I made you read that.
Damn it, Nolan.
Finally, you got me with one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that tale does a really good job of not just explaining the Hanged King's origins in Alagata, but like building a lore around it. It was a really good description of it.
Yo, Kelsey, going through 7462, I think you might need to do this.
Yeah, there's a lot I need to do.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I think this has to go on that plate somewhere in the back.
The plate's only so big, Cassie.
I'm gonna get you a bigger plate.
Now, for our next game, we are going to play not Two Truths and a Lie. In fact, we are going to start a brand new game for the show called Fact or Myth. However, first, we're going to look at Billith's Two Truths and a Lie that he gave last week, which was 1. I have scaled Mount St. Helens. 2. I am 2 degrees of separation away from Jim Carrey. And 3. I have played over 10,000 hours in Minecraft.
And I know I picked Jim Carrey. What was yours, Nolan?
I think I was Jim Carrey as well.
Jim Carrey?
I wasn't here for that. So I'm guessing Minecraft, absolutely true. Okay? As someone with almost 2,000 hours in No Man's Sky, I understand Minecraft is a thing. So, not that one. I'm guessing more or less degrees of separation from Jim Carrey, or it's not Mount St. Helens, it's a different mountain.
Which one?
It's a different mountain.
Okay.
Stormbreath, do you have a suspicion?
Oh, the Minecraft's definitely correct.
See, we're all like, no, it's not that.
Yeah.
Why would you lie about that?
10,000 hours of Minecraft.
The Minecraft is way too believable to the point where I think it's only if it's the lie, it's like an intentional misdirect of just something like that's way too believable as the lie to throw everyone off.
Yeah.
I think from my understanding, Mount St. Helens is not like a huge hiking thing, so I think I'm gonna go with Mount St. Helens, but I think it could be Jim Carrey. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm leaning to Mount St. Helens right now. Oh no, climbed year round. I think
You can't Google it. Cheater!
I'll stick with Mount St. Helens then. That was my gut reaction.
Twitter's response to Two Truths and a Lie was 66% Jim Carrey, 33% Mount St. Helens, and 0% 10,000 hours of Minecraft. Like, nobody believes that's a lie.
Everyone knows Billith is a fucking nerd. We got it.
The answer, Cassie, this is going to be it's going to be the best thing ever for you, because not only did you get it right, you got it right for the right reason.
These assholes!
has Billith not scaled Mount St. Helens. It was another mountain. He scaled Mount Rainier, but he's never touched Mount St. Helens.
Do you see? Do you see why the anomaly is somebody actually not fibbing a little bit of it in order to turn it into a lie? These assholes. I'm okay with not doing this anymore. I've had enough. Up to here with jerks.
You're going out with a win, Cassie. Going out with a win.
Yes. Nice. Gonna be suspicious of people forever. Thanks, Billith. I'm already paranoid, and you made it worse. I gotta talk to my therapist tomorrow about this shit.
Now, Stormbreath is going to tell us a fact and a myth, and it's up to us to figure out which is which.
So, there is a river of blood in Antarctica, and there is a rare species of walking tree in Canada.
One of those is a fact, and one of those is a myth.
Yes.
There's a river of blood in Antarctica?
Possibly.
That's the fact, yeah. Or that's one of the two things I said.
Yeah. I mean, there's also flowers blooming in Antarctica, so...
All right, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Fact is the river of blood, and myth is the species of walking tree. I mean, I know I'm like a 3-word Google search away from having the actual answer, but I'm not going to play that way. So,
I know the answer because going to the thing, tree or blood, is on my bucket list.
okay, so you're going to recuse yourself because you, for a fact, know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll drop that on our socials, so leave us a comment, tell us what you think, and we'll find out the answer next week when we have Dr. Maxwell on.
Ooh.
But before we leave, do we have mail?
Oh, you know we have it. You know we have it.
Yeah.
We got 2 mails. We got
yeah,
2
we got 2
whole
mails.
mails. 2. We're
They send us
important.
things they like us. So the first one, considering 8K Conis, and these are both really good questions. We're going to talk about this for a minute, I think.
Mhm.
Considering 8K Con is here, what's your favorite genre of SCP? Signed, Not Ficus. That's our friend Fern Feichel.
It's not
and just
ficus.
before I answer that question, I just want to say, Fern, we love you, brother, and sorry for what you're going through with your family. Wish there was something more that we could do to make it better, but you're in our thoughts and prayers, and fucking, virtual high five and shit. Love you.
Thank you for taking the time to send us mail.
Yep.
Very
So
appreciated.
considering 8K Con, what's your favorite genre of SCP?
World-altering horror.
Yeah.
Easy
I think
for me. Yeah.
I think my favorite genre, I don't know, I'm a sucker for cosmic horror. There's something about just having that smidge of existentialism when reading your favorite stories every now and then. It just hits different,
Yeah.
Existential dread and sadness presented in a way that this could be real.
Oh yeah.
How often do you cry for the dragons, Kelsey?
Every time I read it.
Yep, right?
It's the death of whimsy. Like,
I know, that probably got you right in that exact feel
Yeah.
that you crave.
yeah, it does.
For us,
Like,
that
oh my
probably
God, the dragons are
gut
dead.
punched you.
If I gave a nickel for every time I read a story about dragons that made me cry, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
What's the other one?
Kirby's, right?
I believe Kirby wrote it. Yeah, it's I forget the exact number, but it's to slay a dragon.
Oh.
3844, yeah.
Yeah, and it's literally about one of the founding members of the foundation. Starting off in like late 1800s, early 1900s, fighting a real dragon in the Alps, and forging a friendship with it. But like a slow death of whimsy over time, even as you're reading the articles, as like the sense of like amazement and whimsy being replaced by cold, analytical, scientific jargon to explain away the magic. Yeah, and it's a sad ending.
That sounds like a mint I could suck on for a while.
That
Make me
sounds
cry.
right up your
That's
alley.
a really, really great article of Kirby's. The thing that's always funny to me about that one is that the 4000 contest theme was history, and Kirby's actual entry into the contest barely related to the idea of history. It was like a really tenuous grasp. And then before the contest voting period ended, he posted to slay a dragon, which really ties into the idea of history in this like really meaningful and direct capacity. And I remember reading this at the time, and everyone in like the group chats we were in, we all read it and we were like, Kirby, why was this not your 4000 entry? This is so clearly linked to history in a way. And it's just like, yeah, I messed up here. This should have been the 4K. I chose the wrong article.
Oh,
Fucked
rolled the dice and lost.
Oh man.
Yeah, so very different. Like everyone else in this here all said like cosmic horror, or really like grand scale articles, but I really like the small scale stuff, especially like right. Kelsey didn't say like cosmic horror, but existentialism. Yeah. I like the stuff that feels like an X-Files episode, just like a random monster, a random
The monster
thing
of the week.
The monster of the week that's like small and understated kind of stories that it's not breaking the masquerade, and it's something the Foundation is reasonably containing. It's like the personal, very direct horror. That's what I like the most.
You know what? Two of my favorite SCPs for the longest time, like my first favorite one, and one of the ones that got me into SCP was A Cup of Joe, and it's just a cup that does fucked up shit to you. Like that's it. It's a cup.
I love explaining that one to people. Like, let me tell you about something small and destructive.
Interview with the Drain Snake. You guys remember Interview with the Drain Snake? There's like a dude bro down in the shower drain. But then it's got like the most graphic fucking body horror.
Oh no.
Like it's done so well. Like it's pulling this guy through a 4-inch shower drain, and you're hearing every second of it in the prose. And when I read that, I recorded it. It was my first collab, special place in my heart, first collaboration ever. I did it with Creepy Otter, and I was the drain snake pulling Creepy Otter down this 4-inch tube. And I got emails from like nurses and paramedics that were like, okay, listen, yo, most of the time, like I'm okay with this stuff. I see it every day. I had to turn this off.
No.
I was like, that was real. Like that was really well written. Anyway, yeah, I like those. Yeah,
no,
that's
don't
a
link
good
it to
monster
me.
Of the week. That's a good monster of the week. The drain snake. All right, you got that next one, Cassie?
Yep. All right, next mail. Yo, nerds. Love the music recommendations. Ruthlessness is added to my regular listening now, as well as a majority of Epic, the musical. Damn, Nolan did that to us. Right? Oh, new question for y'all. What are your least favorite tropes in stories you read or hear? Favorite boop. Phyrexian Hollow. Least favorite tropes or
tropes.
favorite?
Stormbreath, you want to take the lead on this one?
Least favorite tropes. This is tough. I think my tastes have really changed a lot over the years I've been here, and I don't know what my least favorite tropes are anymore. Especially since the zeitgeist of what's been like acceptable content has changed so much. Like I used to be really fed up with articles that knew about the Foundation and knew that the Foundation like was a thing and was referred to them. And in the time that I've been here, like attitudes about that have changed so thoroughly that now that doesn't even faze me at all. That seems like almost a demand of the world we've created is that people would know that the Foundation exists. Oof. Yeah, I can't think of anything at the moment of like a current dislike.
So I'll jump in. I don't think this really counts as a trope. Okay, trope-wise, my least favorite trope is like all of the build on this big baddie, and then you come to find out that the big baddie's not a big baddie. Like he's actually like trying to be one of the good guys or whatever. Like I fucking hate that trope. Let the bad guy be the bad guy. Like stop fucking with me about the bad guy. Let the bad guy be the bad guy. But one thing that I have been annoyed with, and I think a lot more lately, is like shoehorning in, and it's not a trope, it's just I think part of a writing style, and I think maybe it's something that young authors feel obligated to do, like in the current state of social awareness, is shoehorning in that particular thing, like torture is bad, or capitalism is run amok, or like you can tell me that in the narrative, but you don't have to actually have the character fucking say it out loud. Like we don't need to have this conversation within the fiction that I'm reading, right? Like I'm living it in the real world, you know?
Yeah. It's the Garth Marenghi, I know cowards writers who use subtext and they're all cowards quote. Is like, there's a time and a place for that attitude, but then like also other times it's like you get really blatant with it and it's just grating.
Yeah.
I love that you made that quote. I fucking love that show.
I don't think I have any strong feelings about tropes. Like if a story can so my brain hurts. Is it a suspension of belief or disbelief?
Disbelief.
Thank you.
Typically.
If a story can do that, I don't really care about whatever. Oh, I've read this 17,000 times. No, take me out of anything else going around besides the words I am reading right now. And that's all I ask. And I don't care if I've read it. Give me the same fucking vampire trope every day for the rest of my life. If the story is compelling, I'll live happily forever after. So I don't really have a least favorite for the same reason. I just want a good story. My least favorite trope is bad stories. I don't know. Look, and I have read some bad shit. Yo, there's a book series that me and all my friends agree this person should not have been allowed to ever write more than the word hello on a piece of paper sign their name. Don't ever let them put pen to paper again. They are the worst writers possible. But damn, that fucking story is good. If they had been able to put two words together in a sentence that made sense, it would have fucking rocked the planet. But that's so bad. It's so bad. But the story, and it's 10 books. Kelsey, it's 10 books. I read all of the books because the story is that good. But this person is a shit writer.
What is this, like some Court of Thorns and Roses shit, or what are we talking about?
Not really. I didn't grow up getting, and I say getting, to read young adult books. Like my mother, my first book present, I was 7, and it was The Stand by Stephen King. Oh, this is how I grew up. Yes. Yeah. So I didn't get to read young adult novels and bullshit, and there was no romance, but it didn't really occur. Wasn't really a thing. There was certainly no fucking fantasy in my house. There are certain I have still never seen Labyrinth. It just wasn't a fucking thing.
Wait, stop, pause.
I was waiting for that. You were gonna let me get past that sentence, and I was waiting for it because
you haven't seen Labyrinth.
I was wondering why you let me continue with that sentence, because there's always somebody. No, I haven't, because fantasy isn't a thing for me. I don't work well with fantasy. Reading these stories is going to be like a boring for me, because I don't work well with fantasy. It's meh.
Labyrinth was a masterpiece.
I'm
Labyrinth
aware.
Was like it.
Like Willow, I've never seen Willow.
You're hurting my childhood. Like you're killing the dragons right now, Cassie.
I've seen Neverending Story, if that helps. I love it. Everything
A
makes
little
me
bit.
cry. They look
Yeah.
like such strong hands, Kelsey.
Oh,
okay.
big, strong hands.
Yes, but fantasy wasn't a thing. So it is a young adult series called The House of Night, and the main character is a girl. And she gets marked, and the mark means you're turning into a vampire. Okay, cool, whatever. Let's continue. This was a great idea. It's cute. She goes off to a specific school. They teach her and raise her, and then she's a school where you learn how to deal with this shit that your body is going through. It's very neat. Typical girl bullshit stuff, but they're like gods invented for this story system, like literal mythology invented for this stupid shit writing book. No, not those kinds of changes. No little men and women going becoming vampires. No, there's like a goddess of night and the evil dark god that they battle.
Very
It's a thing.
allegorical.
It is more than that. I misspoke because I get where you heard that, but no, it's like their bodies are dying over time, and then one day they drop dead or they don't. And they don't is a vampire, and they do is they're just fucking dead. It's hysterical. But I just reading something and reading it and going, and just everything else disappears. It's really the only thing that I am here for. I don't really care if I've read it before.
How about you, Nolan? Any favorite or least favorite tropes? Did you talk about that already?
I think one of my favorite tropes is the found family trope. Simply because it's wholesome. You know, it's something that all of us can agree on. Of like, people that aren't blood, you just feel a deep connection with, and that person's your family. You know?
Well, that's all we have for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, patrons like Arsfel and Oni Mask Productions get more content at patreon.com/SCP Weekly. It's totally worth $2, and your support helps us keep the lights on. Intro and outro music was Lonely Party by Arc de Salil. Thanks to Stormbreath for lying to us. Thanks to our sponsor, Dado Universe Sales. SCP Weekly is distributed by Smooth Cadence Productions. SCP Weekly is not affiliated with the SCP Foundation Wiki, and as such, the opinions presented in this program are our own, do not necessarily reflect those of the Wiki or its staff, and we are not beholden to the Wiki's rules.
Music is provided by Epidemic Sound.
Content relating to the SCP Foundation, including the SCP Foundation logo, is licensed under Creative Commons Sharealike 3.0, and all concepts originate from the SCP Wiki and its authors. This recording, being derived from this content, is also released under CC by SA 3.0. Until next time, I'm Kelsey.
I'm Cassie.
And I'm Nolan, the K is silent. And this has been SCP Weekly.
Yay! What do we go out with? Actually, I do have a thing I want to go out with, Stormbreath. DJ Cactus, overrated or underrated?
I think he's rated appropriately. He's number one, and I think that's what he deserves. I don't think he can be underrated because he's rated as the top, but I think that is a position he deserves.
It is a deserved rating.
Yeah.
Rounder House, overrated or underrated?
Rounder House, underrated. Rounder House should be number 2.
Rounder House isn't number 2. Who the fuck is number 2?
What? Let me go ask Crom. It's Clef. Yeah, Clef is number 2 according to Crom. Yeah.
As somebody who desperately loves Cactus, like absolutely fucking adores Cactus's writing, Rounder House should be number 1.
Ooh.
As
words.
desperately in love with Cactus's writing I am, Rounder House should be number 1. He is a small baby child. Look at this shit. What is going to happen when he's our age?
With the impending alleged retirement of DJ Cactus looming on the horizon, and Rounder House having so many more years left in him before he gets picked off by a publisher, He probably will eventually climb to that, but I think it'll probably take at least another 2 or 3 years for that to happen.
Yeah. No.
And goddamn it, Bones got to happen before then, anyways.
Oh God. Stormbreath, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
SCP Unredacted, overrated or underrated?
I think probably underrated. You guys definitely could get more publicity there, and you deserve it.
No, I mean, we're cool, but Unredacted's an asshole. I don't know if you've met him.
Guy's a douche.
The Offshoot, underrated or overrated?
I actually have not watched that. I've been meaning to get around to it, but I just never got into it.
It's okay. I work with this guy. I haven't seen him either. We're terrible people. We're terrible. Awful at supporting our friends. Fucking suck.
I will not accept this slander.
No,
I
we're terrible.
I think the Offshoot is like DJ Cactus, appropriately rated with more to come.
Nice.
Fucking bitch.
But will it only get better in the future like Rounder House?
Yes.
Probably.
Nice. That's what we need.
Releasing the first full episode very soon.
Is somehow not number one. Not that I know what number one would be, but is only going to get better over time and then take the fuck off. Overshoot everybody.
So Stormbreath, you've been around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
In SCP years, you've seen a lot of authors come and go. Who is out there that we might not know about that we really should be keeping our eyes on? Who's out there?
Keeping eyes on.
Yeah.
Oh. Who like the who are
who's
the
got
big
and I'm talking
names?
about like they've got the work ethic, they've got the longevity in them, they've got the desire, and they're coming into themselves as an author, and we don't know who they are yet. Who's out there that we should be paying attention to?
Oh, that's a really difficult question, because at this point in time, I'm not really interacting with a lot of the up and coming people of the wiki. And so I'm kind of out of the loop on this, as unfortunately, I have a lot of people I know and I keep up with them, but they're all really tend to be the big established names. And there's no one that I know right now off the top of my head that's who I can point to as I think this person's going to be the next big name. But KCON entries tend to be where a lot of those people get their starts and become make themselves known as those authors. Big Sloth on My Face hit the ground running with All Creatures Great and Small, and he hasn't produced a lot since then, but everything out of him has been really good. I definitely recommend his Akon, Maslow's Fire.
Yeah.
Since we started recording, there have been 6 more articles added to Rounder House's countdown.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the cutoff is what? 2 hours. 2 hours and 5 minutes from now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think DJ Cactus is still.
I have been refreshing this,
frantically
waiting for one of those names, Tanhoney and Cactus,
I know.
to post.
Yep, Tanhoney said that they were working on something. DJ Cactus did. Hammer Maiden said they were working on something.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been refreshing this whole time.
The cutoff is the cutoff. I was very excited. We talked about this earlier in the episode to see IP come back for 8KCon, and IP's 8KCon article is classic IP, start to finish, take me right back to Sloth's Pit. And I'm there, and then I'm not there, and then I'm there and not there again, and it was really cool. I'm very, very happy to see it come back from their hiatus. And they were talking in 19 Chord about some other ideas and some things that they want to finish. So I hope that they stick around for a little while this time, because that's one of my favorite authors out there.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
very cool.
IP's been around for a while. I have an article that IP started and then gave to me to finish, and then I didn't finish it either. That's been in the pipeline for years that I really gotta work on at some point. Maybe actually in collaboration with IP at this point.
Yeah, now that they're back.
I got to head off now. It's been great doing this episode. Stormbreath, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Stormbreath.
Thank you.
This was amazing. Thank you for your time. It is highly appreciated.
Yes,
Of course.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
And this will
Thank you for
air
having me.
Tuesday evening. We'll shoot you a link to the episode when it hits YouTube.
Awesome.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
You too.
Take it easy.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I know you're
Does that look
pulling.
better, or
I know you're pulling a table towards you, but it looks like you're teleporting yourself closer to the camera when you do that. Like you and the whole background behind you. It's an interesting effect. Yeah, it looks better. I got mine.
all right.
Mine. You know, like that border between the wet part and the dry part of your lip, like right there. Mine will grow just past that, and they'll stick to it right there. And I'll be like, what is that? Oh my God, it's sticking to my lip again. Now I gotta go trim it.
Yeah, I have like those times where it's like weirdly like little strands of hair for some reason. Like if you're talking or like eating whatever, somehow get like caught between your teeth.
Yeah.
And it's like pulling your lip down in towards it.
Oh God, yeah, and pulling one hair, like when you just snag one little hair and you yank on,
Yeah.
makes me sneeze.
Oh God.
No, you can. You guys can take off. I just had a comment for. I'm really confused because DJ Cactus did post The Edge of the World for 8K.
Oh,
He posted a screenshot on January 17th, though. So he's not just, he hasn't posted it.
Yeah, I didn't see his name on the hub.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it says item 8000, The Edge of the World at the top. It's on his Twitter.
Was it a collab?
checking. I think that was like a hype thing he did, because looking at his sandbox where he's working on this right now, he's like currently working on it. He actually has an edit lock active right now on it. So it's not finished, and I think he's really trying to get in there under the deadline.
Clicking frantically on the keyboard.
That last fucking second, isn't he?
I took a look at his sandbox, like a couple weeks ago, and then I sent him a DM and I was like, hey, just a heads up, but your article seems to be like an identical premise to a popular Series 2 article, and I just want to warn you about that. And then he like didn't work on it for 2 weeks, so might have accidentally just like killed all of his mojo with
You
that.
destroyed Cactus!
Yeah. I was like, hey, I just want to like let you know this one exists. It's very similar, so like you just want, I'm sure you can work around it, but you just need to know this exists so you can work around it. And then like he didn't edit it for 2 weeks after that. So
Hey, I've read this before. Check this out.